10, the pyramids and the Sphinx. Egyptologists generally agree that the Great Sphinx on the Giza Plateau is approximately 4,500 years old. However, this number is merely a theory and not a fact. In The Age of the Sphinx, Robert Bauval, he points out that there is no writings linking the Sphinx to this area in the first place. But when was it actually constructed then? So John Anthony West, he questioned the age of the monument when he observed the vertical weathering on its base. Now, this erosion could only have been caused by exposure to water over a long period of time, likely from heavy rainfall. In the middle of the desert though, wondering where did all this water come from? But interestingly, there was a find that this region actually experienced such rainfall about 10,500 years ago. But that was more than double the currently accepted age of the Sphinx. Robert Bauval and another researcher, Graham Hancock, have estimated that the Great Pyramid was built around 10,500 BCE, predating Egyptian civilization. And this begs a question, so who actually constructed it if it wasn't the ancient Egyptians? And what was their purpose for constructing it? Number 9 brings us the Maya calendar, or the Mayan calendar. There has been such speculation and worry surrounding the prophecies supposedly foretold by the Maya calendar. Now, the fears surrounding the predicted catastrophes of the year 2000, of course, they paled in comparison to the concerns surrounding the end of the Mayan long count calendar, which coincides with December 21st, 2012. We all remember that day. The world is gonna end, right? Well, what could it have all meant though? Will it bring about the end of the world through some sort of global catastrophe? Or perhaps will it usher in a new era of humanity? Well, these type of prophecies have a long history of failing to materialize, and then what people do is they usually re-explain it, reinterpret it. But either way, 2012 has come and gone, but there are still some people that hold on to the belief that the prophecy was just the beginning of something that is still yet to come. From there, let's take a look at Japan's underwater ruins at number 8. Off the coast of Okinawa, Japan, lie mysterious structures that some believe may have been built by an ancient, now lost civilization. While some have dismissed the tiered formations as being natural occurrences, there was one diver in Okinawa that reported seeing a massive arch or gateway made of expertly fitted stone blocks. And these type of blocks were similar to the prehistoric masonry that was found in the Inca cities of the Andes Mountains. The architecture of these structures included paved streets and crossroads, large altar-like formations, staircases leading to broad plazas, and processional ways crowned with towering features that they say looks like pylons. But if it indeed is a sunken city, it is definitely massive in scale. And some have speculated that it could be the lost civilization of Mu, also known as Lemuria. Coming in at the number 7 spot, we have the Egyptian treasures. The Arizona Gazette's April 5th, 1909 edition featured an article titled "Explorations in Grand Canyon. Remarkable finds indicate ancient people migrated from Orient." And this revealed that a Smithsonian-funded expedition had discovered artifacts that could revolutionize history if they're confirmed. So the artifacts they found inside the cave, which was manually carved into solid rock, included things like copper weapons, statues of Egyptian deities and mummies, as well as hieroglyphic tablets. Despite the article's detailed account, the legitimacy of the story is in question, as the cave has still not been found since. As well as the Smithsonian, they deny knowledge of this discovery completely. However, one researcher and explorer, David Hatcher Childress, he suggests that the front page coverage and Smithsonian's mention increase the likelihood of its validity. So it may have been a newspaper hoax, but the story's level of detail makes it hard to just dismiss it as being completely fake. Maybe it does exist, maybe extraordinary things were found, but that's probably a secret that we may never know. From there, let's move on to the Cuban sunken ship at number 6. In May of 2001, an ocean mapping project by Advanced Digital Communications, or ADC, which is a Canadian company, made a discovery in Cuba's territorial waters. Sonar readings revealed a geometric pattern of stones 2,200 feet beneath the surface that appeared to be the ruins of a city. Now, a man, Paul Weinsweg of ADC, he said this, and I quote, "What we have here is a mystery. Nature couldn't have built anything so symmetrical. This isn't natural, but we don't know what it is." Also, National Geographic, they became interested in the site and joined in subsequent investigation. Also, ADC's Paulina Zelinsky, she reported that they saw a structure that, and I quote, "looks like it could have been a large urban center. However, it would be totally irresponsible to say what it was before we have evidence." Coming up in at the number 5 spot, we have the Nazca Lines. The famous Nazca Lines are located in a desert about 200 miles south of Lima, Peru. Etched on a plain approximately 37 miles long and 1 mile wide, these lines and figures have definitely confounded the scientific world since their discovery back in the 1930s. Running perfectly straight, some parallel to each other and many intersecting, they give the appearance of ancient airport runways when viewed from above. Now, in his book, Chariots of the Gods, Eric von Daniken, he proposed that the lines were actually runways for extraterrestrial crafts. However, that's kind of unlikely that aliens would need runways on Earth. Either way, more captivating though are the gigantic figures of over 70 animals carved into the ground, including a monkey, a spider, and a hummingbird, as well as others. And the question is, what is their significance anyways? Some experts believe that they have astronomical purposes, while others think that they were used for different religious ceremonies. But again, who really knows? Number 4 leads us to the underwater pyramids. Dr. Ray Brown's account of discovering the ruins of a lost civilization is very fascinating. Back in 1970, while diving near the Bari Islands in Bahamas, he claimed to have stumbled upon a pyramid that was shining like a mirror. That was his words. He estimated its height to be around 120 feet, although he could only see the top 90 feet. Now, the pyramid had a colored capstone and it was surrounded by the ruins of other buildings. Dr. Brown, he swam into a chamber and found a crystal held by 2 metallic hands, and above the crystal hung a brass rod from the center of the ceiling, at the end of which was a red multifaceted gem of some kind. Dr. Brown, he claimed to have taken the crystal, which is believed to have mystical powers. And his account may seem a little too over the top to be true though, but it definitely does spark the imagination about the many mysteries that may still be waiting to be discovered. For the number 3 spot, let's talk about the journey to America. It's definitely a common misconception that Christopher Columbus discovered America. But in reality, he merely began the official European invasion of the Americas. People had already discovered the continent long before Columbus, including the arrival of what we now call Native Americans many centuries prior. Even explorers from other civilizations beat Columbus to the shores of the Americas, such as Leif Erikson, who successfully sailed to North America back in the year 1000. But what's even more fascinating is the discovery of artifacts suggesting that ancient cultures explored the continent way before any of these people, Columbus, Erickson. For example, Greek and Roman coins and pottery have been found in the US and Mexico, while Egyptian statues of Isis and Osiris were also found in Mexico. These discoveries are in addition to others such as ancient Hebrew and Asian artifacts that have been found in the Americas. How did they get here, and who were the explorers that either brought them or traveled to distant lands and brought them back? Still a mystery. Next up at number 2, the legend of Mu. Mu is also known as Lemuria, and it's a well-known legendary lost world that has captured the imaginations of people for centuries. According to many Pacific Island traditions, Mu was once a paradise located somewhere in the Pacific, but it sank into the depths of the ocean along with its inhabitants. Like the myth of Atlantis, there is an ongoing debate about the existence of Mu and its exact location. In the 1800s, Madame Elena Petrovna Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophy movement, believed it was located in the Indian Ocean. But again, still a mystery. Ending this episode off at number 1, where is Atlantis? The myth of Atlantis originated from the writings of Plato in 370 BC, describing a magnificent and technologically advanced island, but providing only limited and vague details about its whereabouts. So many believed it to be nothing more than just a legend though. However, those convinced of Atlantis' existence have scoured the globe for evidence or even hints of its existence. Edgar Cayce's prophecies suggest that remnants of Atlantis would be discovered around Bermuda, and in 1969, geometric stone formations were found near Bimini that some said was actually confirmation of these predictions of Edgar Cayce. Other people proposed different locations for Atlantis, including Antarctica, Mexico, off the coast of England, and off the coast of Cuba. Some also claimed that Atlantis was not an island, but it was actually an exploded planet. But either way, this is a secret that has eluded people for centuries. At number 10, we have Finnish paganism. It was the indigenous religion of Finland till it was Christianized, and this religion evolved from shamanism, and it shared several features including ancestor veneration. Now, here's the thing. Finnish paganism, it was intertwined with nature, and they believed that the world came into being from the egg of a diving duck. Ukko was the name of the main god of this religion, and he was the sky and thunder god, and his feast day was held on April 4th, which was one of the most important dates in their calendar. This god shares some traits with the Norse god Thor, and one thing that they really had in common was that they both have a magic hammer. From there, let's look at Canaanite religion in at number 9. It was a religion of natives in the area between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. Now, for many years, the only evidence about the existence of this religion was that it was mentioned in the Torah and Bible, where there were constant battles and fights between their Israelite enemies. On the northern coast of Syria, several Canaanites were discovered between 1927 and 1937. It was a polytheistic religion, and they had many deities, in which El was the supreme god and Bel was the sun, the god of thunder. This religion was slowly eroded by Israelite conquest and religious pressure until it just completely vanished. The religion at number 8 is Atenism. Atenism was a monotheistic religion, and it was introduced by Pharaoh Akhenaten. Now, it was designated as the official religion of Egypt during the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, and at first this religion was accepting of other Egyptian deities, but it later started to reject all of them. And because of this restrictive nature of this religion, many people, they just stuck to their older belief systems. So after the death of Akhenaten, well, his religion vanished along with him. as well as people just went back to their old beliefs after that. Next up, let's look at Minoan religion. It was a polytheistic religion with no name, and it was the religion of the inhabitants of Crete. Bull masks and horns were found during various excavations, which means that this religion was very much in touch with nature and animals. Now, there was no real centralized text for this, I guess, group of religions, and most of the information that we have gathered was derived from cave paintings and various archaeological discoveries on the island. Now, the main Minoan deity was a female nature goddess, and other than bulls, snakes, and double-headed axes played huge roles in their religious rites. The religion at number 6 leads us to Mithraism. This religion was brought to Europe from its Persian roots after the conquest of Alexander the Great. Now, extremely popular among Roman soldiers, this religion became one of the ancient Roman mystery cults. And this religious sect remained quite secretive. Now, Mithras was a Persian god of the sun, and no surviving text about Mithraism is found. Most of the knowledge that we have about this religion comes from the ruins of its temples. And these temples, they were made underground, and it's said that they were built cheaply. Next up at number 5, here we have Manichism. A Persian man named Mani founded this religion in the 3rd century AD. Now, the founder claimed that he was bringing together all of the religions of the world, including, get this, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Now, he focused on the differences between good and evil, and Manichism was known for having knowledge as it is a road to salvation. The people who followed this religion were known as elect or the perfect, and they resembled Buddhist monks. This religion lost its popularity though in the Middle Ages. Let's look at Tengrism at number 4. This religion was one of the oldest religions in the world, and it was founded in the Bronze Age. It was developed by the people of the Altai Mountains in Central Asia. This religion was monotheistic, and it had heavy elements of ancestor worship. There were no holy books to this religion. However, it is believed that the Huns of the northern Caucasus may have worshipped Tengri, which was a god to which they sacrificed horses. The religion at number 3 is Asherism. This religion was almost identical to the older Babylonian religions, but it had one main difference. Instead of considering Marduk as the supreme deity, the Assyrians honored Ashur. Now, it was a polytheistic religion, and it had thousands of gods, with 20 of them being the most important gods. This religion has many stories in common with Judaism and also Christianity. In at the number 2 spot, we have Vedism. The religion of Indo-Aryans, Vedism was popular from 1500 BC to about 500 BC. This can be considered the foundation of the modern Hindu belief system because they share the same holy text and the 4 Vedas. This religion was polytheistic, and the gods were divided into 2 categories. And these categories were Devas, which are gods of nature, and Asuras, which are gods of moral concepts. Priests played a big role in the religious ceremonies, and their aim was to improve the lives of people and to please God. Now, the supreme god of Vedism was Indra. Now, the religion at number 1 is Olmec religion. Olmec religion was followed by the Mesoamerican Olmec people. This religion was popular from 1400 BC up until its destruction in 400 BC. Now, there was no direct evidence of this religion, so archaeologists had to really compare relics with the Mayan and Aztec religions, and they looked for similarities there. The most popular god of this religion was a jaguar god of rain and fertility, and although some theories suggest that there was no one main god, instead there were 8 equally important gods. The priests of this religion were said to have inhaled some sort of hallucinogen or some sort of drug to communicate with the spirits. Who really knows? Because there's just not much information about the Olmec religion. Either way, that brings us to the end of this episode. This was a look at 10 ancient religions that have been forgotten. If you guys found this video informative, educational, entertaining, useful in some way, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up. It really shows your support. And also, if this is your first time here to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell. That way you won't miss any of our daily educational episodes here. Until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay educated, and I'll see you soon. In the last section of the ancient Hindu text Bhagavata Purana, there is a list of numerous predictions and prophecies about the dark times of the present age known as Kali Yuga. In Hinduism, the Kali Yuga is the fourth and worst of the four yugas or world ages in a yuga cycle. Hey everyone, welcome back to another FTD Facts episode. My name is Leroy Kenton, and for this one, we're journeying into Hinduism and looking at some ancient Hindu predictions that have come true in this present age. Starting off at number 10, influence of power. And this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam 12:1. Then, O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali. Okay, so today, really only power and authority are respected in people. Tolerance and forgiveness are, of course, things that have completely diminished because there's a whole lot of envy going on. The prediction at number 9 has to do with hypocrisy and money ruling. So Srimad Bhagavatam 12:5 says, a person will be judged unholy if he does not have money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. Now, there are many self-righteous and hypocritical people, religious fanatics and stuff out there too, who claim that if people don't believe what they believe, then they're all bad. They have the only real knowledge. You know, these same fanatics are also usually addicted to many bad habits like excessive smoking and drinking and gambling. And also marriage has now become, just really a verbal thing, and the marriage certificate isn't really worth much. It's just a mere piece of paper nowadays. So we see a whole lot of this stuff going on in this age of Kali. Number 8 brings us the strong will gain power. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 12:7. As the earth thus becomes crowded with a corrupt population, whoever among any of the social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. So people from all backgrounds and classes are now becoming political leaders. Anybody who is viewed as power and having influence, well, those are generally the people that are going to win regardless of their actual agenda or their actual abilities to get the job done. Now, number 7 leads us to a dried up planet. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:9 says this: harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, wild honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. Now, this prediction declared that the future of the planet is going to be a very dried up place, and despite all the modern technology, there's not going to be really any formula to aid these people in experiencing the hardships of this planet. It's like we're seeing this happen right before our eyes. From there, let's look at the prediction at number 6, speaking about the different torments that are going to happen. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:10 says the following: the citizens will suffer greatly from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will be further tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, and severe anxiety. So guys, we all know that climate change is a big issue these days, as well as the anxiety and stress levels that we're seeing in people are leading them to suffer from great depression, as well as leading them to fight and carry out all different types of acts, as well as the diseases and stuff. You know, we just went through a pandemic, the COVID pandemic. How many more are we gonna see? Number 5, this world will be unsafe. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 12:332. Cities will be dominated by thieves. The Vedas will be contaminated by speculative interpretations of atheists. Political leaders will virtually consume the citizens, and the so-called priests and intellectuals will be devotees of their bellies and genitals. So yeah, most of the large cities right now are completely unsafe, especially at nighttime. There's a lot of different fake priests and religious con men who are looting people in the name of religion. And also political leaders are really eating up all of the wealth in their respective nations, and corruption is just gripping the world everywhere. So yeah, could this be a fulfillment of this ancient prediction? Number 4, cheating will be common. And this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 12:335. Businessmen will engage in petty commerce and earn their money by cheating. Even when there is no emergency, people will consider any degraded occupation quite acceptable. So yes, despite all of the available jobs and occupations out there, people are literally willing to work any job, you know, in unsanitary working conditions just because that's what they choose to do. You know, they think it's something that they can get by with, so they choose to do it. As well as other quick money-making schemes people are getting involved in. Number 3, people will be selfish. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:336 says this: servants will abandon a master who has lost his wealth, even if that master is a saintly person or of exemplary character. Masters will abandon an incapacitated servant, even if that servant has been in the family for generations. Cows will be abandoned or killed when they stop giving milk. Wow, some very strong words in this one. It's unfortunate that people will abandon those people who are closest to them. Number 2, hatred will be common. Now this is found in Srimad Bhagavatam 12:3-4-10. Men will develop hatred for each other, even over a few coins. Giving up all friendly relations, they will be ready to lose their own lives and even kill their relatives. Wow, this is really sad to see, guys. Like, you know, people are really like letting people down, even if they're really close friends. For the sake of money or wealth, people will be ready to even end the lives of their relatives. That is crazy. Now, at number 1, this leads us to parents being abandoned. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:3-42 says this, and I quote, "Men will no longer protect their elderly parents, their children, or their respective wives. Thoroughly degraded, they will care only to satisfy their bellies and genitals." So during this age, we can see that so many people do not even tolerate their old parents. They just maybe send them away to a nursing home or something, or not even talk to them, not call them or anything like that, not realizing that, hey, your parents gave up so much to raise you. As well as we see things like cheating on your partner that you're married to becoming very common, more common nowadays.